Bangladesh, a land sculpted by the mighty rivers Ganges and Brahmaputra, emerged as an independent nation on December 16, 1971. This momentous occasion marked the end of a long and arduous struggle for self-determination and sovereignty. It was a hard-fought victory born from the sacrifices of millions who dared to dream of freedom. The Liberation War, which lasted for 9 grueling months, saw countless acts of bravery and resilience from the people of Bangladesh. The spirit of liberation resonated throughout the land. From the bustling streets of Dhaka to the quiet villages, the joy of independence was palpable. The aroma of hope filled the air, a potent mix of optimism and uncertainty. People were eager to build a new future, despite the challenges that lay ahead. Bangladesh was finally free from Pakistan. The years of oppression and struggle had culminated in a new dawn for the nation. The world watched in awe as this new nation, forged in the crucible of war, took its first tentative steps. The challenges were immense, with the need to rebuild infrastructure, restore order, and heal the wounds of war. The scars of conflict ran deep. The devastation was widespread and the task of rebuilding seemed daunting. But amidst the ruins, there was an unyielding spirit, a determination to rebuild and prosper. Communities came together, united by a common goal of creating a better future. The people of Bangladesh, resilient and resourceful, were ready to embrace the future. With hope in their hearts and a vision for a brighter tomorrow, they set out to transform their war-torn land into a thriving nation. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, affectionately known as Bangabandhu, or Friend of Bengal, became the first Prime Minister of Bangladesh. His leadership was instrumental in the birth of the nation, and his vision for a free and prosperous Bangladesh inspired millions. A charismatic leader who had spearheaded the independence movement, Mujib embodied the aspirations of a nation. His speeches ignited the flames of freedom in the hearts of the people, and his unwavering determination led the country to victory. He promised a Bangladesh founded on the principles of democracy, socialism, secularism, and nationalism, enshrined as the 4 fundamental principles in the newly drafted constitution. These principles were not just words on paper, but a commitment to a just and equitable society. The world embraced Bangladesh with open arms. Leaders from around the globe recognized the significance of this new nation and extended their support and friendship. International aid poured in, eager to assist in the nation's reconstruction and development. The global community saw the potential in Bangladesh and was ready to help it rise from the ashes of war. There was a sense of global solidarity, a shared belief in the promise of this newly liberated nation. People from different corners of the world came together, united by a common goal of rebuilding and supporting Bangladesh. The future seemed bright, filled with hope and expectation. The people of Bangladesh were optimistic, believing in the promise of a better tomorrow. Bangladesh was poised to become a beacon of progress and prosperity. The early development projects and successful initiatives were a testament to the nation's resilience and determination to build a better future for all its citizens. The euphoria of independence was short-lived. The road to rebuilding a war-torn nation proved to be fraught with challenges. Political instability, economic hardship, and social unrest cast a long shadow over the fledgling democracy. The euphoria of independence soon gave way to the sobering realities of nation-building. The Awami League, the political party that had led the independence movement, faced internal divisions and factionalism. The administration, still in its infancy, struggled to cope with the overwhelming task of governing a nation grappling with the aftermath of war. The economy was in shambles, crippled by the destruction of infrastructure and the exodus of skilled workers during the conflict. As the challenges mounted, so did public discontent. The government's inability to address the pressing issues of poverty, unemployment, and lawlessness fueled a growing sense of disillusionment. The gap between the promise of independence and the reality on the ground widened, creating fertile ground for discontent. The specter of famine loomed large as natural disasters compounded the economic woes. The nascent democracy, already fragile, began to show signs of strain. The ideals of freedom and justice seemed increasingly distant to the ordinary citizen struggling to survive. The stage was set for a dramatic shift in the political landscape. Section 5. The Rise of Mujib. Amidst the growing turmoil, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's grip on power tightened. His presence was felt in every corner of the nation, as he became the face of both hope and fear for many. He adopted an increasingly authoritarian style of leadership, consolidating power within his own hands. His decisions were no longer questioned, and his word became law. The Awami League, once a symbol of liberation, transformed into an instrument of his control. The party that had fought for freedom now seemed to be fighting for Mujib's vision alone. Mujib's charisma, once a unifying force, now served to silence dissent. His speeches, filled with passion, were now tools to suppress opposition and maintain his dominance. In 1974, Bangladesh was hit by a devastating famine. The crisis revealed the cracks in Mujib's administration, as the nation struggled to cope with the disaster. The government's response was widely criticized as inadequate and ineffective. People took to the streets demanding answers and accountability from their leaders. Accusations of corruption and mismanagement plagued the administration. Stories of officials enriching themselves while the common people suffered became rampant. The famine, a stark reminder of the government's failure to deliver on its promises, further eroded public trust. The once hopeful nation now faced despair and disillusionment. The stage was set for a dramatic turn of events. The political landscape of Bangladesh was on the brink of a significant transformation, as the people's patience wore thin and their demands for change grew louder. Section 6. The Awami League's grip. In January 1975, Mujib amended the constitution, transforming Bangladesh from a parliamentary democracy into a presidential system. He assumed the presidency, consolidating his power and sidelining dissenting voices within his own party. The Awami League, now the only legal political party, became an extension of Mujib's will. The opposition, already weakened and fragmented, was effectively silenced. The press, once vibrant and critical, was muzzled. The judiciary, stripped of its independence, became subservient to the executive branch. Bangladesh, once a beacon of hope for democracy in the region, had descended into authoritarianism. Section 7. Baksal, the one-party state. In a further consolidation of power, Mujib declared the formation of Baksal, the Bangladesh Krishak Shramik Awami League, a single national party. All other political parties were banned. Mujib envisioned Baksal as a vehicle for achieving his vision of a socialist utopia. Critics, however, saw it as a blatant power grab, a means to eliminate political opposition and establish one-man rule. The formation of Baksal marked a turning point in Bangladesh's political trajectory, solidifying Mujib's grip on power and extinguishing the last vestiges of democracy. Section 8. Political oppression. With Baksal firmly in control, political repression became the order of the day. The government, through its various agencies, cracked down on dissent. Opposition leaders were arrested and imprisoned, newspapers were censored, freedom of speech and assembly were effectively curtailed. The Jatiya Rakhi Bahini, a paramilitary force created by Mujib, instilled fear and obedience. The Rakhi Bahini, accused of human rights abuses, became a symbol of state repression. The dream of a free and democratic Bangladesh seemed to be fading into a distant memory. Section 9. The crackdown on dissent. As opposition to his rule grew, so did Mujib's paranoia. He became increasingly isolated, surrounded by a coterie of loyalists. The once revered leader, hailed as the father of the nation, was now viewed by many as a dictator who had betrayed the ideals of the liberation struggle. The economy, despite promises of socialist progress, continued to falter. Corruption, nepotism, and mismanagement were rampant. The gap between the rich and the poor widened. The very people who had fought for independence now found themselves living under a regime that was increasingly repressive and out of touch with their needs. Section 10. A legacy of authoritarianism. The events of August 15, 1975 sent shockwaves throughout Bangladesh and the world. A group of disgruntled army officers, citing widespread corruption and the erosion of democracy, assassinated Sheikh Mujibur Rahman along with most of his family. The assassination marked a bloody end to Mujib's rule and plunged Bangladesh into a period of political turmoil. Mujib's legacy remains a complex and contested one. Hailed as the father of the nation, he is revered for his role in leading Bangladesh to independence. However, his later transformation into an authoritarian ruler who dismantled democratic institutions and stifled dissent has tarnished his image. Section 11. Bangladesh after Mujib. The assassination of Mujib did not usher in an era of stability or democracy as the assassins had hoped. Instead, it triggered a series of coups and counter-coups, further destabilizing the nation. The legacy of Mujib's authoritarian rule cast a long shadow over Bangladeshi politics. The period from 1972 to 1975 serves as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the ease with which power can corrupt even the most well-intentioned leaders. The dream of a democratic and prosperous Bangladesh, born out of the sacrifices of millions, remains alive, a beacon of hope guiding the nation towards a brighter future.